So Kamala Harris during the town hall was asked what she will do about abortion, and there have been a lot of developments in the news lately. This is the question about that.
Are we gonna go back to the days of back alley abortions? Women died before we had Roe v. Wade in place. And so I'm gonna tell you, on this issue, I'm kind of done, because here's how I feel about it, guys. Let me tell you. Here's the thing. There are states that keep passing these laws, and when elected, I'm gonna put in place and require that states that have a history of passing legislation that is designed to prevent or limit a woman's access to reproductive health care, that those laws have to come before my Department of Justice for a review and approval, and until we determine that they are constitutional, they will not take effect.
I don't know if that's possible.
Okay, so we were like whispering about this. I was like, am I lost? I don't know if that's possible.
I mean, I haven't heard anything like that before, saying we'll have a review within the Department of Justice, but if it's like a federal issue taking it toward to the Supreme Court, I don't know how they would do it.
Yeah, I had the same reaction as you guys. I think I know what she's referring to. What they do, for example, with voting rights is if you have a history of racial discrimination in your state, and this is what the Supreme Court recently overturned, unfortunately. But what used to be in place is, before you set any new restrictions on voting, you have to go to the federal Justice Department, and the Justice Department has to okay your restrictions on voting, because historically, your restrictions have been to try to keep black people from voting, right? So in this case, she's saying, why don't we take that concept and apply it for women's rights and not just minority rights? And so if you're gonna restrict women's rights, you have to bring it through the Justice Department. It's a unique and interesting idea, so it's one of the few ideas that were different and interesting, and I think particularly hers, so that's good, I was encouraged by that. I do agree with you guys that it's a little apples and oranges, and if you say, the federal government has a right to strike down your law without something like the Voting Rights Act backing that up, it's gonna be pretty hard to execute, and so the Supreme Court might have an issue with how she would do that. And so, look, it's probably not the best solution, but at least she's thinking out of the box. I kind of want to give her credit for that.
No, you're right. You're completely right.
Me too. But the thing that I want to say, and I know that to some people I'm beating a dead horse because that horse doesn't affect you. But when we talk about, this is where I am right now. We're gonna talk about abortion, we're gonna talk about prison, we're gonna talk about guns. Let's talk about the systemic disease that's behind it all. Because of these abortion laws, people of color and poor people suffer more. So I wanna hear people that are not afraid to address that. I don't wanna hear anymore, a woman should have agency over her body. We already know that. Like, we already heard that. What you got on it? What do you have on it for real? And stop talking to us like you don't have a vagina. You are one of us, just like us, and you don't get to be. That really just irked me. You guys know it irked me. I was pissed earlier.
Yeah. So look, again, I don't know if we live in our bubble and we want them to be so much tougher. And I don't know if regular voters like this soft gauze, that they pass ideas and policy through, et cetera. But for me, I mean, so here's I want to be constructive about it. So here's another way that you could answer those questions. Look, this is them trying to enforce their version of their religion on all of us, but we're not all the same religion. And look, even within the same denomination of Christianity, a lot of people don't agree. I go to a church, she could say, I don't know if she does, right? But only if she means it, right? And me and the person sitting next to me in the pew don't agree. So whose religion are we gonna enforce? And it's not the right thing to do. And why are they doing transvaginal ultrasounds? It's super uncomfortable to talk about, but you know what? What's more uncomfortable is when they actually do it to women.
Until we
and it's not gonna happen on my watch, right? So I mean, look, there's 1,000 different ways to answer it that gives you a sense of she's actually pissed about it.
Yeah.
Where I didn't get the sense she was pissed.
But there's go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just saying, like, there's a calculation that they must be taking, and I do think that generally voters, what has been happening is probably going to continue to happen to a good number of people because, like, there's a smaller gap, like 18 to 25 is a gap. 25 to 35 is a gap, and then it's 35 to 55 and 65 to 1 million. People are already set in their ways when it comes to how they evaluate candidates, and I think there are, at least these candidates are betting on there being a lot of people who are just like, I don't want someone mean anymore. I don't want someone angry anymore. I don't necessarily think that's the case as much as they have calculated it to be. But even if that is the case, you've got so many people in the Democratic Party race right now, the Democratic presidential race, who are just so indistinguishable from each other.
But I don't think
cancel each other out.
Donald Trump is not angry, he's hateful. And those are two different things.
He's happy.
And I think people would love to have someone who's angry about what's happening to Americans in America. And yes, a lot of the constituents are fighting about this abortion because of where they stand on the matter with regards to religion. But wouldn't you love to have a candidate say, hey guys, I know you guys feel this way because your Bible tells you this and your religion tells you that, but the reality of it is that these guys are making the rules. They don't care about your religion. These are all money plays. This is all strategic game, and they don't care about abortion the way you think they care about abortion, because if they did, then they would care about all forms of life, including the little black babies that are born and when they're alive. So wouldn't you want to have a candidate? That's what the other side thinks that Donald Trump is doing. He's letting them in on all the little secrets, and he's the one he's spinning it the way he's spinning it, but they think that they have a guy that's in there that's working on their behalf, and we don't have that guy. Like, that's the problem. We need that guy.
Yeah, so again, Ida's right as usual. Like, we want somebody who's gonna fight for us. Trump, for all of his monstrous behavior, you get a sense he's gonna fight for the MAGA guys, right? Yeah. He says take him out in stretchers. So if we got somebody who's relying on consultants to keep her above the fray and all that stuff, that ain't gonna work, if you ask me. Thanks for watching this free clip of the Young Turks. Don't forget to become a TYT member today. For more exclusive content, join now at tyt.com/join.